In today's video, we'll be talking about a major PlayStation 4 game being confirmed to have microtransactions to upgrade the characters you play as. Pretty disappointing information, and their explanation is pretty laughable, so I want to take a look at that. It's actually a game that I'm personally very excited for, so I do want to give my input. On top of that, TGS is still rolling on, and coming with TGS is new Death Stranding gameplay. I'm not going to give you guys my analysis of the gameplay because that's not what this channel is about, and if you know Death Stranding, you know every time that they release a trailer, instead of getting questions answered, we just have more questions arise. So at this point, I'll just be giving you guys the information that we did get. Now, Death Stranding is of course being made by Hideo Kojima, who's known for Metal Gear Solid, and a game that's being often compared to Metal Gear Solid is Square Enix's new title in Left Alive. And over TGS, we have finally gotten the first gameplay videos for that game, so I want to talk a little bit about that and the potential I foresee for Left Alive. Speaking of Square Enix, they are remastering The Last Remnant, and we have gotten 18 minutes of remastered Last Remnant footage, and it's looking quite good. An underrated JRPG that I'm very happy is gonna have a second chance. On top of that, I talked about the presentation Days Gone had at TGS, and I thought the game looked rather polished, and Gear Nuke has got some comparison shots of what we saw at Tokyo Game Show and the alpha of the game, and it is looking quite good. And the improvements made for the Tokyo Game Show version of the title is looking pretty good, so I want to talk a little bit about that. And lastly, everybody's been talking about Kingdom Hearts 3. We got a lot of new information on that. However, if you're not well versed in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, the best way to get started is with the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix Collection, and I've got a fantastic deal on that for you guys at the end of this video as well. More on that later on. First, let's talk about Devil May Cry 5 having microtransactions to upgrade characters. Devil May Cry 5 director Hideaki Itsuno spoke to GameSpot and talked about the microtransactions the game will have, and here's what he said. Quote, with giving people the ability to purchase red orbs, it's something we want to give people as an option. If they want to save time and just want to get all the stuff at once, those people can do that. The first thing is the stuff that we feel people should want to get first is made cheaper, so people will think, oh, this is cheap, I'm just gonna go buy this. But then for the stuff that's gonna be harder to use and master, we make that more expensive, partly because you save up for that, you're not gonna be able to buy as many skills, so you're gonna have the time to learn it. Now, I get the notion of giving the players the option to play the game in this easier state, having all of the upgrades right away, but the issue is that option is supposed to come with the $60 investment that we pay to play the game. It's not supposed to be another purchase on top of that $60. Back in the day, a lot of games had cheat codes, and those were absolutely free. I can go back to a Capcom property like Mega Man. That game had so many secrets where you could get upgrades right away. It's not like we had to pay money to utilize those cheat codes, but now to get these upgrades right away in Devil May Cry 5, we actually have to pay money, so that's unfortunate. The recent information I've seen of DMC5 has turned me off a little bit. I'm not a big fan of this new character they introduced. We do know that the game is going to have online play. Some of those elements I just don't know how they're going to translate into the final game. The exact gameplay that I've seen has looked really good, and I'm still excited for DMC5, but microtransactions are a turn off. I'm not a big fan of this new V character, but we'll see. Maybe I'm judging a book by its cover a little bit too much. Moving on from Devil May Cry 5, Death Stranding has gotten a brand new gameplay trailer, and on top of that, we've gotten a brand new character, and he's being played by Tommy Earl Jenkins. The character has some resemblances to Skullface from Metal Gear Solid 5, and the trailer itself doesn't give you a ton to work with. It's about a minute long. However, I'm sure those online are dissecting every little bit of this trailer and will find some useful information. And of course, on top of that, we'll probably get some more questions about this game because that's Hideo Kojima's MO whenever he releases new gameplay of Death Stranding. Seemingly, he just likes to make it a little bit more confusing for everyone.
Hungry. All you gotta do to make it out alive is not get eaten. Sound like fun? Of course it does.
Moving on from that, one game that I'm personally really looking forward to is Square Enix's new Left Alive game, and that's a game that's getting a lot of comparisons to Metal Gear Solid, so a pretty high bar to live up to. But we finally got the first gameplay footage of Left Alive, and it looks pretty good. I definitely get that resemblance to Metal Gear there. I definitely see that stealth aspect of the game. However, at the same time, it does seem a little bit more action-oriented, and of course, one of the big elements of this game is the mech combat, and that looks pretty good as well. The game is set in the Front Mission Evolved universe, a universe I know a lot of you guys are aren't all too familiar with, but this game also seems to be its own original property, also seems to have a big focus on the storytelling, a lot of dialogue options, and I see a lot of potential for the game. It will be released in Japan on February 28, 2019, and it'll be arriving on the PlayStation 4 and PC. It is slated to come to the West as well, but we don't have an official release date on that. Hopefully it's not too late after that February 28th release date, but actually having it a little bit later after that might be a good thing because February is an absolute stacked month of game releases. We've got a lot of games coming in February, so Left Alive waiting a little bit, maybe seeing an April or May release over here in the West, that might not be all too bad of an idea.
戦うっていうシチュエーションもありますし、
なるほど、今だって動かしてますもんね。
そうですね、これが実際のプレイヤーが乗って、
は
ルバンツァーで敵のバンツァーを倒してるっていうシチュエーションです。
は
で、今までのフロントミッションにあったパーツを組み合わせて遊ぶみたいな要素は、まあゲームのシチュエーションがシチュエーションなんで、今回はないんですけれども、まあ。このバンツァーで遊ぶところにもやっぱりその選択
Moving on from that, and speaking of Square Enix, we know that Square Enix will be bringing out the last Remnant Remastered. If you don't know what the last Remnant is, it was a JRPG that was released on the Xbox 360 and PC. Very, very underrated. While it wasn't perfect, I thought it had a very unique battle system. I thought the story was okay. Really, I thought it just faltered from a technical side of things. And obviously on the PlayStation 4, that won't be an issue. And we've gotten 18 minutes of last Remnant Remastered gameplay, and it looks pretty good from a visual perspective. Even though that this game is, what, a decade old at this point, it still holds up rather well. I mean, you can definitely tell it's a last generation title, but still on the visual side of things, it holds up rather well, and I would say they did a good job of improving the visuals as well. We'll leave a link to all of the gameplay if you are interested in the last Remnant Remastered. It will be releasing on December 6th as a digital-only release, so that's a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have this game physically, but I can understand why it's a digital-only release, as those that are interested in the game, because it's such a niche release, they'll probably go out of their way and buy a digital copy even if they did want it physically. Some of the improvements also include improvements made in the PC version and a turbo movement mode for the overworld, so that's really nice if you want a quicker paced game. Again, December 6th for the release of the last Remnant Remastered.
クリティカルディフェンスクリティカルディフェンスっていうのが発生しまして、自動的に反撃してくれたりとか。
じゃあアクション要素もちょっと入ってるというか。
そうですね。だからコマンド入れてぼーっと見てられないゲームなんですよ。
すごいバトルめっちゃこだわってますね。
通常の倍速モードです。
はい。
この上のメーターがそのさっきおっしゃってたモラル
ですね。はい。
Moving on from that, Days Gone was a game that had a significant showcase at TGS, kind of unexpected. This isn't a game you really associate with Japan, more of a Western style game. However, it looked really good based on the TGS footage, and I noted, comparatively speaking to older gameplay, it looked a ton more polished, so that's great to see. And Gear Nuke has actually got a great article looking at the before and after, looking at the alpha build that Game Informer had months ago, and then the TGS build, and you can see in the TGS build visually, it is looking a lot better, a lot crisper, and there are definitely noticeable changes being made. I think this could turn out to be one of the surprising PlayStation 4 exclusives. I know a lot of you guys are excited for Death Stranding, you're excited for The Last of Us Part 2, maybe Ghost of Tsushima. Days Gone is one that's being a little forgotten about, but it's being done by a great studio over at Sony. Been really their first foray into a console AAA experience, and I actually think they're gonna deliver something quite great with this one. I was a little bit worried because I thought this was gonna be similar to what Ready at Dawn did with the Order 1886, and that Ready at Dawn was a studio that was more familiar with working on portable titles, and then they were tasked to work on this big budget AAA game in the Order 1886. Same could be said for Sony Ben, but Days Gone is looking to be a lot better of a game, a lot more polished of a game, and definitely a lot more plentiful in the content side of things. So this one could surprise a lot of people. February 22nd for Days Gone, and again, every time I mention February 22nd, I have to reiterate the fact that's the same day Days Gone, Metro Exodus, and Anthem are being released. One of the biggest release days of gaming ever.
中にある家などガレージとかある建物の中には全て入れることができます。
Suddenly he sees a nest. So if you see rooms that have all of these branches, these are areas where freakers hibernate during the day.
今はい火炎火を投げた場所ですけど、
燃やしましたね。
はい。そこにがフリーカーの巣ですね。いろいろ枝が飛び出しているのが見えると思いますが、そういう
And lastly, another big focal point of Tokyo Game Show has been Kingdom Hearts. However, some of you guys are probably looking at the Kingdom Hearts 3 footage and you're completely lost. Maybe you played Kingdom Hearts back in the day, but you don't remember anything about this story. Maybe you never played Kingdom Hearts. Well then, I've got a great deal for you guys. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix is down to $14.99 over at Newegg after a promo code. This is without a doubt the cheapest that this collection has been, and a phenomenal entry into the Kingdom Hearts universe. What you get with this collection is Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, you get Kingdom Hearts Ray Chain of Memories, you get Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and you get Kingdom Hearts 2. And on top of those games, you get various cutscenes coming from other games. So really a perfect entry point for Kingdom Hearts. This is going to get you started with the franchise. And after you play through this collection, I would recommend you to check out Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, as that's kind of the gateway into Kingdom Hearts 3. Also includes Dream Drop Distance, which is a direct sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's pretty essential to understanding the entirety of the story. But for those of you newcomers, or for those of you just wanting to revisit the franchise, this is the way to do so with the 1.5 and 2.5 remix at just $14.99 over at Newegg. So that's gonna conclude this video. Again, Devil May Cry 5 will have microtransactions to upgrade characters. That's disappointing, but that game still is shaping up quite nicely. We've gotten a lot of new information on Death Stranding. Left Alive has finally gotten some gameplay. 18 minutes of last Remnant Remastered gameplay has also come out. Days Gone is looking really, really good. When you compare the TGS version to the alpha version that Game Informer had access to, this game is shaping up really nicely. And for those of you that want to get into Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix for $14.99 at Newegg, that's an awesome deal. That's gonna wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.